everyone. Welcome to another podcast of Marketing 101 for chiropractors. I got a really special guest this week, Walter Salubro from Ontario, Canada. He's been doing YouTube, and we've been talking about YouTube so much recently in the recent podcast. I knew this was going to be such a great fit. Thanks for being on the show, man.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Enrico.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about how you're a chiropractor, of course, but tell us a little bit about how you got into social media and then how you got into YouTube. Tell us your story.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a chiropractor with 25 years of experience. I practice in Vaughan, Ontario, just north of Toronto. I love being a chiropractor. I do it Monday to Thursday. I started social media, I believe, a little later than most people on the business side and also on the personal side. It's just how it was for me. When I realized that it was really advantageous to be on social media is when I started to embark on it. That was back in, let's say, about 2013. Didn't know what I was doing. I tried all the different social media sites. The one that I liked the most was YouTube, and I just took off with that over the years through a lot of trial and error, just trying to figure things out, and then eventually it ended up working. But so that's how I really started off. I realized I had to get into it to promote my practice. It was the new thing back then, so I want to take advantage of it as much as possible.
For sure. Yeah, that's great. And then I've been following your stuff, and builds, it's like a snowball effect, right? And that's what we want to talk about today on the podcast is how you can utilize YouTube, even as a chiropractor. We look at these, Mr. Beast and all these other people that are doing funny stuff. We're like, I'm never going to do that as a doctor. I'm never going to do that, or I'm never going to go viral. That's not the goal. You're going to teach us today about, when being consistent and putting up valuable content can actually change people's lives by getting them in your office and do a lot of things. Even with TikTok too, I'm just share a little story. In the Blair Upper Cervical community, we've got some people doing some great work, like Dr. Pekka and all this on TikTok. And because of the millions of views that he gets, he's never going to be able to help millions of people up in the northeast of the United States. So what ends up happening is I get new patients in Florida because of his stuff. They're like, hey, check out, click the link below to check out about an upcoming doctor near you. And then they go in and they're like, oh, I live by Tampa and Enrico's here. So it's amazing the snowballing effect that can happen. But yeah, tell us how you got into it. Where did you start with YouTube? How do you start? I think most of the people listening today is going to be like, well, where do I even get started?
Yeah, so that's a good thing you said about that. First of all, getting started is very important. This is my fundamental belief. It's what I believe based on my experience. It's what's worked for me. I truly believe that every business owner needs a YouTube channel. That's it. It's free marketing. It's a free, almost like having your own free channel, right? Like TV channel. It doesn't matter what kind of local business. You mentioned something like Mr. B. So those are more like if you have a virtual business or a global business, I can see how people think, well, that's useful, but it also works for a local business, like a chiropractor, brick and mortar business. You want people to know who you are and what you do, plain and simple. And how do you help people? And there's many different ways you can put that information out. There's all those other social sites. I just feel for long form content, YouTube is still the best. So if people don't know who you are, then there's no way they can find you, right? So all the old fashioned ways of marketing are done with, right? It's like what Gary Vee says, you're chasing attention, right? We're in the attention era right now. So you want attention on you, you want attention on your business. So showcasing it on video is the best way to do it, in my opinion. So you need to have a YouTube channel, no matter what. That's what I believe. It doesn't matter what business you're in. It can be a bakery, you can be a carpenter. Like my dad's a retired carpenter. If I was doing his marketing in the day, that if he existed during social media time, we'd put every single project before and after on video, and it'd be endless referrals for him, guaranteed.
Yeah, we could do a whole podcast on why YouTube and how Google dominates the internet, but let's skip all that. Let's go straight into just like how you do it and why you need to do it. So getting started, what do you recommend? Start the channel. It's free.
Yeah. So most docs I deal with already have some kind of, they already built a channel. But if you haven't, start a channel. It's really simple. You get a Google Gmail address, whatever, start your channel. Starting it right is very important. So you need to know what your channel is going to be about. Okay, so you need to niche down. So if we're talking to chiropractors, there's all forms of ways you can deliver chiropractic information or different niches. Are you a spinal decompression office? Are you a pain care office? Are you a family practice? Are you corrective care? Whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is, but you need to focus on the thing that you're doing in your office. Okay, so your messaging, your niche, who your audience is, and the types of things you're going to do to help them. Okay. So that's number one. So the idea. Then you need to brand your channel. Okay, so I see this often. I've actually audited a channel this week, and the first thing that I noticed that was wrong was the channel banner. It was messed up. Now, YouTube unfortunately makes it difficult to make it right, because behind the scenes, behind the desktop, what you see is a big space of the actual channel banner, but all you see is a narrow ribbon of it, right? So you need a template. You can look online and just look for a YouTube channel banner template, and then just superimpose your design on that on Canva, and then just remove the template, and you get it done right. So your channel banner needs to be branded, have a certain type of color scheme that fits you or your brand, have a certain type of messaging if you're a local practitioner, a local business owner, who you are, where do you practice, your website, your telephone number. You want all those people to know how to contact you. So that's very important. And then from there, another one that I think people get wrong is the channel name. So a lot of chiropractors like to use their office name. So for instance, my office is called Back to Health Chiropractic Center. I didn't choose that. I just inherited when I purchased this practice years ago. I would not make my channel that name. It's too long and it's too, it's not unique. It's not unoriginal. So I would call it the doctor name. So Dr. Walter Salubro. So you want to brand yourself. You're the person, you're the brand, okay? And then the channel icon, I always recommend, instead of your logo, a headshot, a professional headshot, so people know who you are, and when they see your video pop up, those are standard, okay? So that's very important for channel setup. The other part now is the about, the information part. It's a little section in there that most people get wrong or just don't even put anything in there. Your information, so what the channel is about, what are you going to offer? What kind of videos are they going to get? How often are they going to get them? Why should they subscribe? And then you also put your contact info in there. Then you add your social links, and then your channel's already set up just like that. Okay. Then we can dive into some content ideas as we go along.
When I look at chiropractors and I audit their channels and their marketing, because I help them with a lot of marketing, is they they have 5 subscribers or 1 subscriber or 20 or whatever, maybe even 100, and they get discouraged about it. Walter's got over 100. Are you over 200,000 yet?
Not yet. I'm 143,000.
150,000 subscribers, which is different. It's just like Facebook. Getting a like and getting a follow, 2 different things, right? Getting a follow is like you're putting out content I want to see in the future. Again, I don't want to miss out. Getting a like is like that piece of content is great. So it's the same thing on Facebook. Getting a like is like, great job. Thanks. I like that. And then getting a subscriber is like, well, I don't want to miss out on what he has to say in the future, which is fantastic. So building that subscriber base is fantastic. And it's about consistency. So let's get it. That's where I was going with all this. I'm sorry. How do we get into consistency with creating content?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So it starts off with your niche. Okay, so what's the overarching message of your channel? What kind of topic you're going to talk about? And then inside there, you're going to have subtopics. Okay, and even within each subtopic, you can go even more narrow. Okay, so you need to start. So I would, if I was starting a brand new channel right now, I would say, okay, let's just say, because I actually have some ideas of starting a scoliosis specific channel. So I have it branded, I have it all ready to go. So now what are my topics? So people want to know about this thing. So can you treat scoliosis non-surgically? I would have maybe 2 or 3 videos about that. Can it be treated with exercise? I have a few videos about that. Could it be treated with bracing? I'll have a few videos about that. Okay, so how do you fit a bracing? So I have a few videos about that. So I would jot down all these ideas, maybe 10, 20, or 30 ideas, and then just knock them off one at a time. That's it. And you start filming and start editing and start uploading. And don't worry about what results you get. That's very key at the beginning. You talked about likes and all that stuff. We get attached to the numbers, and I understand that there's an ego part of that, right? It's really strange. It's almost irrelevant. It is and it isn't, because you can still get people that find you and want to come to you if you have a low amount of subscribers and views. I've seen that happen over and over with our clients. Okay, so you don't need to have 140,000 subs or whatever, 1 million subs to have people find you. You just need to have the right message in front of the right person, and if they're in your local area, they'll want to come to you. So you knock out those videos one at a time. Now, as you're doing those 20 videos, now you have a lot of data, you have analytics, you see what's working, what's not working. And we can dive into that if you want to. It's a bit more in-depth of analysis, but keep it simple. The videos that are getting higher impressions and more views, right, maybe even more subscribers, then now you go deeper on that topic, because now YouTube's finding an audience for you. Okay. So, and you keep at it, and then you see what people want. You do some research on competitive channels, you do some research on Google, see what people like in that topic, and then you just make your version of that and make it better.
Awesome.
So it's going to take work. And that's the thing. So, and that, talking about consistency, it takes work. So how do you be consistent? I think consistency is a byproduct of dedication, right? So if you, and when I taught this in the past, I will say you have to have the intention of becoming a YouTuber or a content creator. So you need to affirm, say, okay, I'm now a full-time content creator, aside being a chiropractor. Okay, so a full-time content creator, a full-time YouTuber, which means now no matter what, I'm taking off with this, and you go at it. Okay, now there's going to be a time where maybe a few weeks you don't make any content, no. But then you get back on it. Why? Because you have the overarching intention that you're creating content and you just don't stop. Like, I'm not going to stop creating YouTube content until I retire, because there's no need for me to stop. I need to create content for people that need this information, right? So being consistent is being dedicated. Now you have to find, okay, what's the pace that works for me? Then you have to figure that out without making it stressful. Is it one video a week? Is it one video every 2 weeks? Is it 3 videos a month? And I've seen chiropractors in the past at that frequency of 2 to 4 videos a month still have their channel take off. Okay, so it doesn't have to be every day or every second day. Okay, so you'll start to see the patterns that work for you once you start creating content. So that's why I tell my people, even when I have some coaching clients, like I'll say before our next call, make sure you have 3 or 4 videos done, because we have something to talk about, so we know how to improve. So you see the patterns of what's working and the patterns that it's not working, and you keep banging out the things that are working and avoid the things that are not working. So creating content is super important on many levels.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely it is. We had a great example 2 weeks ago. We put out a $79, weight loss promo, and we just as a post on our Facebook page to our followers. Didn't add no ad spend, no boost, 0 comments, 0 likes. We're like, okay, no one's seeing any of our stuff. Next week, 3 new patients. Hey, I saw your $79 thing. Just because they're not commenting or they're not liking it, they saw the offer. They're doing exactly what you want them to do. They're picking up the phone and calling or emailing and saying, hey, I'll tell you a little bit about that challenge, the 9-day challenge you have going on. So same thing with Facebook. And I like how you said it. Don't attach your ego to the results. The results, we always look at the likes, but just create the content. I've been saying this for 7 years to everyone. Just do it. Just create the content. Who cares how you look? Don't care about your hair. Just do it. So that's great. So and then another thing you brought up was a little bit of passion and committing to it, saying I'm going to do this. And I run into clients that I coach all the time, like, but I'm not really passionate about this or that, but I'm like, but when you get into a room with a patient and they say something and you end up talking for 10 minutes, that's the passion we're talking about. What is it that you're talking about? How can you create the videos on that? How do people get some inspiration? Do they need the inspiration first before they open their YouTube channel, or should they just do the YouTube channel?
So I make it very simple so people can get the work done. Get started, number 1. Number 2, what do you talk about? The easiest way to start is by looking at the last 20 or 30 new patients that came to your office. What conditions did they come to your office for help with? And those are your now video topics. Okay, so start with that. Okay, now, I don't know about the docs that are listening, but this is my experience. There's some things that I hear about patients and their journey before they got to my office that really piss me off. Okay, things that were not done well. So when you're teaching something in a way that can help people with your chiropractic, and something else is not working, then get passionate about that. Like, interject your energy. So sometimes in my videos, I'll get a little bit more agitated. I'll speak a little faster. Sometimes I'll slow down my tone depending on what the story is. And that passion gets transferred to the patient. They actually, it's palpable. They feel it. I've had many times that patients come in from my videos and they'll say, I love your passion. I love your energy. And that's why they're there. They want a piece of that because they know that you're serious about helping them. Also, in your talking, in your messaging, it's important to project, and I know this is going to happen regardless. You project the fact that you're just delivering content for the sake of helping the person, and that's it. You're not looking for anything in return. And that's something interesting because when you put an ad or a post with an offer, that's a different story. That's great, right? The videos I'm talking about are goodwill content. So you can look at all my 500 videos on my channel. Not one says, by the way, call my office if you need some help. There's no call to action at all. And over 200 plus people come to my office from my YouTube channel so far. So when you are injecting your passion, your enthusiasm, and think about the things that you like to treat. Think about the type of people you like to help, why you like to help them. What kind of results have you seen with your patients? What kind of results will someone not get if they're not getting the thing that you're offering, right? Because that's possible, right? So something with bad posture, it's going to degrade over time. That's something that needs to be addressed. So if you show passion about that and people have that, they're going to want to come in and really see what you're about and see how you can help them. Okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Great
sure.
tips. So that's how you get started. There's
actually lots in there on how to get started.
There's lots in there on how to get started. So there's no excuses to not get started. If you're listening to this, man, you got to get started on this. We talk about this with everything. And here's the beauty about YouTube. It's MP4. You can splice it, you can dice it, you can short it, you can reel it, you can story it, and you can put this across any medium you want. So if you want to get into TikTok, you already got all the content done on YouTube. There's all the AI out there that will take, literally the only way to upload the video is a YouTube link or a Venmo link. There is no or Vimeo link or YouTube link. A lot of these AIs won't allow you to put up the MP4 as a raw product because it takes so much time to download it. So they'll actually take it straight from YouTube, and then you hit, hey, create 30 reels for me under 60 seconds, and then boom. So there's no excuses for this as far as marketing goes on anything there. So create the content and see where it goes. So now we got the inspiration. We're creating YouTube videos. What are a couple, maybe 2 or 3 rules that they should follow when creating the video and uploading them and making sure that they're within parameters of success?
Okay, so I'll give you a couple of things that are very important. Number one, you need to start with a strong hook and a strong introduction. Okay, so and that's something that just is going to come with practice and with putting content out, seeing what works. Okay, so even if you talk about Mr. Beast, I've learned a lot from watching people talk about and interviewing him. He starts his main content in about the 20th second of his video. So the first 18 seconds is just strictly foreshadowing what the video's about and telling them what the payoff will be by the end of the video. Now, this can be hard with our style of content. Trust me, I've thought about it over and over how to do this. But in the first 30 seconds, you want to be as quick and to the point as possible to keep retention as high as possible. If you can retain a majority of your viewers, like 50 to 70% past 30 seconds to 1 minute, then they're going to watch the rest of your video. Okay, so starting with a strong hook, which means you need to address the person you're talking to. So this is really interesting because if someone has back pain or they have back pain from a disc injury, well, they're not looking for back pain videos. They're looking for disc bulge injury videos. They're not looking for radiculopathy or sciatica. They're looking for disc bulge videos. That's how specific you have to get. So you have to call out to that audience. And then you go into the pain points about what's related to that condition. And then you have to tell them what they're going to get in the video. So the expectation. And then if you can give them a little cognitive dissonance or a content gap and say, you know what? And if you stay to the end, they'll give you the one missed thing that most people get wrong, something like that. So you get your retention a little higher, and then boom, give a little introduction about who you are and what your channel is about, very brief, and they get into your main content. Okay, knock it out as quick as possible. One of the problems too that people get into, I see with my clients, they talk too much. Just get to the point. Just get to the point, deliver the main content, and then deliver your outro. Okay, and make sure you deliver on the promise of your introduction. That's super important. Okay, so there's retention tips in there, and there's some engagement tips in there as well. Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Got to do those things. Great. So then you got the hook, you got the content. And you got to do like 20, 30 of these videos before you get good at the hook and understanding the transition by looking at the views. You're going to have people have 3 views, 2 views, 3 views, and then 350. You're like, well, hang on a second. Why did 350 people see this video? Copy that exact template.
Exactly.
And that's it. But you have to have a structure and then the topic. So this is great stuff. And then so now we get the hook, we get the line, we get the videos rolling. What's the next step to kind of keep it going? Or how long what's the run up? I know podcasts, I think it's 8. If you stop the consistency at 8, you pretty much, the podcast is over. But if you can get 8 consecutive podcasts going, the chances of you keeping a podcast going is like through the roof. So what is it with YouTube? What point do you need to get to be like, okay, we're consistent now. Now we can't give up. Now we got to keep on.
Yeah, that's a tricky question to answer. The easiest answer is you just can't stop putting out content, because as soon as you do, and I don't know what that number is, but as soon as you do, your channel becomes dormant, especially if it's taken off. Okay. Now I have a little bit of a luxury where I could not put content out for a few months and I'll still get my consistent views no matter what, my consistent subscribers, all that stuff to keep calling, because it's been a seasoned channel for a little while. Okay. But if I still take too much of a break, then I'm going to risk a drop down in all the metrics. If you're starting off, you cannot take a break, unfortunately. A small break is okay, but you have to get back on it right away. I was just doing a coaching call with a client earlier, and she's just still brand new with her channel. And I was just pointing out on YouTube, when you look at the analytics and you look at your graphs, at the bottom, you see all these little play symbols, which means how many videos were posted at that time. And when there's a cluster of those little play videos, which means a lot of content in a short period of time, the spikes are always up. Always. All the data is always up on the channel. When there's a gap in those videos, the data always goes down. So posting content is super important. Okay. So is there a magic number? I'm not sure. Just got to keep posting content. Just keep posting content. Yeah. Regularly. Every month.
So for me, is it better to cluster or is it better just to stay consistent? Every week video.
Yeah. I think so. If you start over analyzing it, then that's when you stop doing things. So just get content out anytime. Okay. So like back in the day, people said, oh, every Wednesday at 12:30, and let everyone know that every Wednesday at 12:30, you're going to put out new content. I think we're past that, because even Mr. B says, he goes, don't worry about scheduling stuff. Just get your content out there. Just get your videos out there. The algorithm will find the people that need to watch it. Bottom line, right? So I
don't know if you play on, you do, but the listeners, I don't know if you play on Facebook or YouTube a lot, but once you start watching some people's videos, they'll pop into your sequence and watch this next video, and you're like, 2019.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm is feeding you the stuff that you want to see, and that's old content. So start now. Start now.
I think it's important to have a scheduled time if you have an actual podcast. So like a daily podcast or a weekly podcast. So 11 a.m. every day, Monday to Friday. That makes sense. But for our type of content, just get it out there. Okay. Now, I wouldn't post the content at 2:00 in the morning. I would schedule it for 9:00 in the morning or 11:00 in the morning. So if I had it done tonight, I'd get it scheduled for tomorrow. But the idea is just get your content out there.
Great.
Yeah. And then one more thing I want to add in terms of, it's not, I don't know if it relates to a magic number or consistency, is the duration of the video does matter. Okay. So, okay, this is important. So, and I've looked at this in many different ways. Okay. And I wish I had a really good answer, but I'm going to give you what I think. Okay. So most YouTube creators, and I've taught this for many times, is the longer the video is better. Okay. So, and the reason for that thought process is retention and average duration. Okay. So how much of the video is viewed, but also watch time. Okay. So if someone has a 20-minute video and they're getting 50% retention, then 10 minutes, there's 10 minutes of watch time. Okay. If I have a 10-minute video and I get 50% retention, then there's 5 minutes of watch time. So YouTube favors more watch time. So that channel, the other channel, will get pushed out more. Okay. So there's that. The problem is that you're going to lose people. If you're talking about a health condition, you're going to lose them in a 20-30-minute video. Okay. So there is a magic number. I think it's anywhere from like 8 to 12 minutes. Okay. So 8 to 12 minutes is what I think. Okay. And that's just what I've seen with my channel and also my clients. And then within that amount of time, then as you put videos out, you kind of see the length of time that's working. So if you did an exercise video with 3 tips and you got great results at 8 minutes, then make all your exercise videos with 3 tips at 8 minutes. If you're doing a tutorial that's talking about spine models or nerve charts and it's like a 10-minute video and it's doing great, then make them all like that. If you're doing a demonstration of adjustments or decompression and it did well in 6 minutes, then you do like that. So you have to look at what works on your channel based on the audience that's watching your channel when it comes to duration of time. But the duration of time does matter, because if you start rambling, so let's say that the decompression video really should be working at 6 minutes, but then you rambled for 12 minutes, then your retention curves go down because the video is longer and your average duration and percentage viewed is lower. So that's a bad signal to YouTube. And then YouTube also compares your video of the same length with other videos in a similar topic of the same length. So if they're getting more watch time and retention and percentage viewed and all that stuff, and you're not, then they'll push that video out instead of yours. So all these things matter. So looking at your analytics is super important. Now, I know it's hard to conceptualize all that right now because there's no graphs in front of us, but just keep that in mind, for those of you that have YouTube, these things are important. So when you get to the point they have a lot of data, a lot of videos, you got to start looking at these things. Okay.
Right. Yeah. That's great. I mean, some of you were listening. There was like a sigh of relief for me. You're like 8 to 12 minutes. I'm like, because I was thinking 45, 60 minutes. So how much, so we can do that. We can all do that as doctors. We can talk for 8 minutes on any topic, anytime. So what I got from that is, yes, view time is great. If you have like Joe Rogan, 3-hour videos and what people watch the full 240 minutes, that adds up quite quickly and you get ranked very, very well. But if you have 12-minute videos or 10-minute videos and they're watching the full 10 minutes, that adds up too. So that's great. Plus, you get 100% viewership rate on, or whatever it is, 80%, 50% viewership rate on those videos. So you're being scored in a whole bunch of different things, kind of like the Olympic gymnast. It's not just how long the performance is, it's all technique that's going through there. So just do it and get good at it. And once things happen after, from 2013 to 2025, you get 150,000 subscribers and things start to grow. You get a lot of new patients from it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. And if you didn't know, Walter, you can actually call him up. You can call him up and be like, listen, I heard you on the podcast. Rico doesn't know shit about YouTube. I'm going to talk to you. And he's more than happy to help you out about YouTube.
Anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. I appreciate that. Anything else? Do we miss anything?
Yeah. We missed one very important thing: thumbnails. Okay, thumbnails. So thumbnails are very important. So you need to have custom thumbnails. I think everyone knows that by now, and you need to see how they're working. So again, it's one of those things that you can't predict how a thumbnail is going to work. So you need to start somewhere. Okay, and so let's say we're doing a decompression video for a disc bulge. The first thing I would do is let's go to the competitors and see how their thumbnails are working. They got a lot of views? Great. Okay, so we're not going to copy that, but we're going to model it. So if it worked for them, the way I see it is that's a proven psychological triggered thumbnail if it got a lot of views. So then now you model that for your channel and then maybe tweak the text or tweak the image, maybe add an arrow. Something's got to pop. So it's got to draw someone's attention. Okay, so that's the best way to start. And then you want to add some kind of curiosity. So you don't want to give all the information away. Sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't. You want a little bit of curiosity. So there's kind of a content gap. So that they have to click to get the information. Okay. And then the fewer amount of words or text, the better. And make sure all the things are proportionally sized properly. And there's some contrasting colors. But the thumbnails are super important. And once you have a bunch of videos out, just like before, you want to look at your click-through rate. So click-through rate is really going to be an analysis of how well your thumbnail's working. On how many times it was shown, how many times it was clicked, to the impressions it was shown. And then you want to compare each video's click-through rate to the channel average. So what I do is when it's below the channel average, then I need to change that thumbnail. If it's at the channel average, I may improve it if I think it needs improvement. But if it's above, then I'll just leave it alone. Okay? So that's some thumbnail tips as well.
Great.
Yeah.
How about this? Walter and I will design a thumbnail for this podcast for our YouTube channel. Click on it, go to it, and that's what you should subscribe to, or that's what you should follow. There you go. So you're gonna go to his channel, look at all of his thumbnails, and you'll see exactly what to do there. So that's great stuff too. Thanks, man. That's awesome. Great tips. Well, I mean, come on, if you're listening to this podcast, get that YouTube channel started. It's the best thing you can do as a chiropractor in getting information out there, and it's holistic and specific to your practice. You're going to attract people. I know that's the magic words you wanted to hear at the end of this podcast. You're going to attract people to your office, and those things get shared. So that's great. Great tips, man. This was awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care.
Awesome, man. Take care. Thank you for having me.
Of course. See ya.